Okay, so welcome to Project Miata. It is a Saturday morning, and here's what's on the agenda so far. Well, first let me show you kind of what we've done so far. Put new tires on yesterday, which let me tell you made an enormous difference. The old tires weren't all the same size and were pretty worn out. We're going to eventually get new wheels and tires, but this was just in the interim. Already rides a lot better. I'm still waiting on the driver's mirror that I'm having painted, but we did get the rear spoiler painted. That was all faded out, and the passenger mirror took the tint off the back that was all purpled out and bubbling. Still have the rest of the tint to do on some of the other windows. But big project for today is, let me show you. The Miata has had a little issue with leaking oil, as if you can see there. Anytime you park it, it decides it wants to leak oil. Well, the problem is this right here. There's a little front seal, main seal on the front of the motor. However, to get to that, you essentially have to go through the timing belt and water pump and everything, so might as well change it. So here's what's on the agenda for today. Timing belt, fan belts, valve cover gasket, thermostat, water pump, tensioners, crank seals, and of course our good friend, the front main seal. So, watched a couple of YouTube videos, and we're just gonna go for it. So we'll probably shoot some videos along the way, just so you can see how it goes. But here we go. Okay, so here's what we have done so far. Valve cover off, some of the radiator out, some of the front engine components off, getting ready to do the timing belt, water pump, take all this stuff off yet because I have to get to the main seal, which is underneath that pulley. I have here's some of the parts that have come off. I have found a few issues, a few bolts that were missing, and some other hoses that were not properly attached. So hopefully we'll catch some other small issues as we go along and get this job done. So stay tuned. We'll kind of keep you in the loop as we get further into this. Okay, we're at the point where I'm going to take the timing belt off. Here's a pro tip. This main crank bolt was on there so tight. I was really struggling to get it off, partially because that sway bar was in the way for me getting a socket fully on there. And so ultimately what I ended up doing was just loosening the sway bar and pushing it down, and that allowed me to get full leverage, and using a breaker bar with some exhaust pipe on the end of it as for more leverage, was able to finally get that loose. So now I have the motor at top dead center, locked the cams together with some crescent wrenches, and now I'm going to go ahead and get these pulleys off and get the timing belt off. So we're still moving, still trucking, and we'll catch you guys here shortly. Okay, we just learned a hard lesson. The crank seal, okay, which was located way down in here, was on there so hard that you can see we pretty much mangled it getting it off. We tried picks. What they recommend. At the end, I had to go ahead and make a screwdriver, modify this screwdriver with a grinder and put a hook on it to have enough strength to pull it out. So there's our new one that's going in.
Looks a lot
this
better.
Little ring is the cause of all our oil leaks, and to get to that, you can see how much we dismantled, and since it's all apart, we're going to go ahead and replace everything on the way in. So anyway, we just peaked at the summit top, and now we're going to start climbing down the mountain. So we'll check in here shortly. Okay, car's back together. Clay, we got it running, and UT Clay's masterful job on the valve cover. I think it looks great. So far so good. Running smooth. Nothing is leaking so far. And we're going to put it back together and take it here for a road test in a minute. So phase 1 complete. Stay tuned for the next phase, which will be the clutch, flywheel, and rear seal. So whoopee, really looking forward to that. So stay tuned.